You've seen and tasted the promise of XR-enhanced spatial geography for wildlife conservation, and you'd like to help develop your own modules to add to the 3D map and world-building adventure, right? Well, you've come to the right place. In this brief tutorial, we're going to show you step by step how to participate in FWC Spatial world creation and enhance the Planet Lines way so that walking the planet walk is even easier and certainly more compelling than merely talking the talk. We're here to teach you how to speak in 5D, to talk in XR. The first thing you need to do, of course, is to make sure you have a free Spatial account and that you know how to access spatial worlds online on your computer and have downloaded the Spatial app for your phone, tablet, and VR headset. Creating a Spatial account. For that, go to https://www.spatial.io to make your account and to log into Worlds with that account when you want to use it on your computer. For handheld devices and headsets, go to the Play Store, Android, or Apple Store, iPhone, for mobile devices, and to the Oculus Store on your VR headset and download the app. Creating an avatar. As you make your account, it will ask you if you would like to create a custom avatar to move around the world and will direct you to a website called Ready Player Me, where, for free, you can actually take your picture and map it onto the face of the avatar and then pick a hairstyle and clothes to represent yourself. Lots of fun. This is me, T.H. Culhane, the author of this tutorial, but on our journey to mastery, you will also see us as the Planet Walker, John Francis, because in order to make a spatial world available to others to edit and build in, someone has to have a paid subscription account in Spatial and has to have given editing permissions to guests. Otherwise, visitors are only able to observe, but not create. When you've connected your Ready Player Me avatar to Spatial, this is the one that will load whenever you log in. When you've logged in, you'll be able to access a drop-down menu in the top right. Accessing a Planet Lines FWC Curriculum Sandbox world. In our project, because we aren't creating a public game yet, but are working on co-developing educational spaces, we share our interactable spatial worlds in progress with one another so we can each have access to them. Here we share the Planet Walk the Florida Wildlife Corridor world with you. Whenever a space has been shared with you and it shows up in your shared with you area, the first thing you can do is hit the heart button to make it accessible from your Loved Spaces tab. Now, when you check out your Loved Spaces tab, you can access all the worlds you want to spend more time visiting and working in. You can see here that I have many that were shared with me by Planet Walker John Francis and our team. When you come into a world, you should see your avatar standing at the entry point of that particular world, exhibiting an idle animation, kind of looking about, and ready to be piloted by you using your WASD keys on your computer or using the on-screen joystick on your mobile device or the VR headset hand controllers. If other people join the world at the same time you do, you'll see them as well, and you can talk to them by unmuting yourself. It's a playground. The world we will visit and learn together in now is the Planet Walk the Florida Wildlife Corridor map sandbox. It's a place where you can access each spatial wildlife area through spatial sphere portals that we strategically place in geographic locations on the map. You, as a Planet Walker, can follow the Planet Lines paths, paw prints, that are in the world already to get to the wildlife area, and you can create your own. But first, let's show how we can put basic objects and information into the world and on the map. Let's start by planet walking up to Ocala, near the Withlacoochee Gulf Preserve. If you were from Ocala, what might you put on the map to indicate your own human presence in this part of Florida? How to personalize the space. Add 4 objects to the map. In the Planet Lines curriculum, we suggest every visitor personalize places by placing 4 objects onto the map. We recommend 1, a picture of a meaningful place you think people should know about your home region. 2, a logo or graphic representation of the team or organization you're affiliated with. 3, an annotated 3D model of an animal you would like to protect. And 4, a post-it note stating your name and any other information you'd like to add about why this area of your Planet Walk and this animal are of interest to you. Now, adding the picture is easy. You simply click on the plus icon at the top right of the screen next to the backpack icon and before the chat icon and the 3 vertical dots, the menu. This plus icon opens up an Add Content window. On the bottom left of the content window, you'll see a little icon that looks like a globe mesh that says Web Search next to it. It's below the Add Note icon and above the Create Portal icon. When you click on Web Search, it creates a search box at the bottom of the screen in the world. When I type in, for example, Ocala Historic Site, it gives me several images to choose from, which I can then drag and add into the scene. Here, I'll choose the old courthouse gazebo for my image. Next, I'll do a web search in Spatial using the same procedure and look for Ocala Fish and Game logos. When I choose one and drag it into the game world, I can select it. A blue line appears around it, and then click on the pencil icon that appears as one of the options on the bottom of the screen in the middle. It means Edit. And then a menu appears on the right side of the screen, allowing me to change the X, Y, and Z positions of that picture object, as well as its rotation and scale. Adding an animal or other wildlife to the scene. So now let's put our favorite animal or plant into the scene. Creating your Sketchfab account. Here, as a beginner, you may find yourself limited. Thankfully, Spatial is connected to a 3D object archive website known as Sketchfab, where user-generated 3D game content is shared, traded, and sometimes sold. We will find our animals in Sketchfab for this tutorial because it is the easiest way to get your favorite animal in world. To get the most out of Spatial, we highly recommend you sign up right now and get a free account that you can link to Spatial. You do this by going to http://sketchfab.com. Once you log into your account, you'll be able to search for all sorts of models. Many are free, but many others are rather costly. If you make and upload your own models, you get credits to download others under the sharing model here. You can search the Sketchfab website by animals and pets to see what's on offer, and you can download things you like to your own hard drive. Yes, you can purchase models too, and for a price, basically find almost any animal or other wildlife imaginable, and many that are purely imaginary. But you can also access many of these models from within Spatial, so that's what we're going to do now. Adding an animal from within Spatial's Sketchfab option. We click on the plus sign again to open up the content window, but this time we select Sketchfab from the sidebar. Depending on how often you've used it and whether or not you've uploaded your own models, you will see different things in the window than I do. Mine shows a home biogas digester, a sandhill crane, some Solar Cities IBC parts, and a swamp buggy that I created a 3D model of using the Polycam app on my phone at the Disney Wildlife Reserve when we were there with the Nature Conservancy, the Girl Scouts, and the FWC in the fall of 2023. It also shows a Hercules beetle and a strangest star and other objects that have nothing to do with me. I can drag any of these objects into our world if I find them appropriate, but I can also use the search or insert link bar at the top. When I type in bear, I get several free options. None of them are perfect, but you can keep refining your search to see what becomes available since Sketchfab gets updated by users every day. Here I decided to download a cute black bear to put in Ocala. Editing the info panel attached to the animal. Again, the edit window appears when we bring the black bear in and we see the bear surrounded by a bluish box. You can move, rotate, and scale the bear. The bear also has a description card next to it that's attached. Let's edit that. When you click on the I for information blue ball next to the edit pencil icon, it calls up its own information panel wherein you can change the name on the card. I've added the word Florida to the previous black bear, mama and cub information. I've also added my notes in the description area that others can access, and we have the option of showing the info panel in the space or turning it off. That's your choice. Adding an animal from your hard drive via the Sketchfab website. Now that you're familiar with adding Sketchfab models, you should note that there are other tabs above and below the Sketchfab option, and you may find interesting materials in the recent, stuff, and furniture areas, and you can certainly put your own models or models you downloaded from Sketchfab or any other 3D repository using the Upload button. For example, when I download this Florida white ibis, Eutysemus albus, onto my hard drive, I can bring it into my world. To use in Spatial, your best file format is GLB. I download mine to my 3D Objects folder, in which I've created an FWC Animals folder. In this way, we can download or make our own wildlife and add them to the virtual corridor, adding a personal note to the map. The next to last thing we want to do after adding a picture, a logo, and an animal or two is adding a note with some of the personalizing information we would like visitors to know about our most dear area of Florida. To do that, we once again click on the plus Add Content sign. It gives us a window in which it tells us to type something. I write, "Hi everyone, my name is TH. I love Ocala because there are still bears living there, and that makes me feel hopeful for the world. A lot of people come to Florida to visit the beaches, but I would rather visit the areas that bears and other wildlife call home. I hope we can get the state of Florida to enforce meaningful protections for them so that my children and grandchildren can enjoy planet walking with them too." When we hit enter, it turns into a yellow post-it note that I can edit to scale, move, and rotate, just like the picture and logo. Now all I have to do to complete this first curriculum creation is to lock my objects so nobody mistakenly moves or deletes them when they come into the world. To do that, I simply select each object and then click on the blue lock icon at the bottom left of the screen. If I need to edit them again to change position, rotation, or size, I can simply unlock them temporarily. Putting in a portal to another world. One last thing we should show you: how to add a portal to another world where you would like to take your friends planet walking. To do that, let's go back to the spatial.io website and search for pre-built public worlds that we might want to share. When I type the words Florida wildlife in, a few appear. Several of them are things that we at Planet Lines have created, but Spatial has lots and lots of new users joining every day, creating worlds of significance to them. Note that there's one called Florida Wildlife Corridor Bear Survival by Kyle. Kyle is an undergraduate student of Planet Line's visionary XR for Indigenous Storytelling mastermind, University of Idaho professor John Anderson. It expands on the Animal Walker Spirit Guide concept that I developed with my USF Tampa Patel College of Global Sustainability students that we demonstrated at the Florida Wildlife Corridor Connect conference in Orlando. Let's use that world as the one to drop a portal to, as they say. To do that, we click on the three dots that open the menu and click on Copy Link. Now we click on that upper right-hand corner plus sign one more time and click on Create Portal on the bottom left of the menu that appears. Now, an orb, the spatial portal sphere, appears in front of you. You can move it wherever you like and then lock it, just as we've done for all the other objects we brought in. When you click on the sphere that you put into the spatial environment, it now gives you the option to travel there, to that spatial environment. Click on Travel, and you will leave the world we are in and be magically transported through the portal to another spatial world. As Aladdin sings, "A whole new world," and there are infinite numbers of new worlds to put in and play with. You can invite friends to travel with you, and in this way, once enough pieces of the Florida Wildlife Corridor have been created and everyone is telling their stories to add to our natural and social history curricula, we can use extensible reality to travel through space and time, seeing what Florida was like in the past, how it looks in the present, and even visit multiple scenarios of what possible and more sustainable futures could look like. Using spatial geography for social learning and social annotation this way is one of the most powerful ways we know to create a healthy, wildlife-rich, and resilient Florida, created at its best if we use our tools and knowledge well, of the people and wildlife, by the people and wildlife, for the people and wildlife. So that's it for this tutorial. You've learned how to planet walk on the Florida Wildlife Corridor map, find a location in our beautiful but threatened state that's precious to you, and then mark your territory of significance by bringing in a picture, a logo, some 3D wildlife models, and a post-it note connecting the place and the wildlife to you. And you've learned how to drop a portal to other worlds of others, or even of your own creation. In the next tutorial, we will teach you how to create your own spatial world, and then the fun really begins.